I don't know if you just heard me talking to Mark or not, Peter. I'm sure you've had a look at the statement, though. And can you just give us your initial impressions?
Well, to be quite honest, I didn't hear much of Mark because I actually shot out. I've been on the phone this afternoon on the Greyhound board meeting by conference call, so I knew virtually what was coming out in the statement, etc. And actually, I went back to the kennels there and spent a bit of time with my dogs. So, I always find when you're a bit depressed and a bit down in the dumps, go and have a bit of time with the animals and the dogs, and it brings me around a little bit and go and have a chat to them. I think that's what us dog people do.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right, isn't it? And that's why, without getting too whimsical about it, we're all in the game. I mean, forgetting the betting element, but particularly from a trainer's perspective and an owner's perspective, it is the dogs. And obviously key to that is the welfare. Now, it would be nice if the GBGB had a bottomless pot. They haven't, so they're doing all that they can do. Over the last week or so, it did look increasingly inevitable that perhaps that this day would come that racing would cease. Have trainers been in contact with you with their particular worries?
I've had quite a few phone calls, and I think they'd heard rumours about the payments, what was be coming out, and I think there was some very, very worried. I mean, rightly so. I mean, to try and keep a dog on 50 pence a day is not near on impossible, but the GB have not got a endless pot, and it's the GB aren't there solely to pay for us and bail us out of things and stuff. And, it is a group thing, and that's my biggest concern. It is a group thing, and there's some at the top of the ladder which have earned more out of this game than most of us, etc. And we do expect that, or I would like to expect that some would try and help the people on the bottom of the ladder, like trainers who have got the dogs. These dogs are very special animals to us, and we don't want to see anything happening to them, etc. And people have got to support us when it's needed. I mean, one of my points to the board today was that we need to try and push the government to understand. It's all like they're self-employed what they're trying to push for, but all our self-employed money goes back to looking after the dogs, etc. So I can't imagine on our tax returns, it shows that we earn big profits, that they're going to pay us these money out because it's actually ploughed into the dogs. So trainers aren't on big money, but they need big money to look after the dogs. So that's what my point was, to try and push the fact that we do need funding coming to help these, and we need it quick because these dogs need feeding and people need looking after. Yeah,
absolutely. We've heard it when Julie does her features with trainers. Many of them have said, that if you like, gone from more profitable employment into greyhound racing, and it's quite a common theme. They don't do it for the money; they do it for the love. So
yeah, you do it for the love of the dogs. I mean, nobody comes into. Well, I've always said. I laugh sometimes. So if you went with a business plan of being a greyhound trainer, you probably want to get through the bank's door, and that's, that really is from top to bottom with being trainers. There is some who have probably better contracts or better positions than others, but from top to bottom, we do it for the love of the animals. So but we do need money to be able to look after these dogs. So if it goes on for too long, we're going to see people leaving these sports. But even if they leave the sports, then we've got the dogs to consider, etc. So it's. I don't want to worry people and stuff, but, it is urgent for us. There's plenty of people out there who haven't got big bank balances, and they live day to day or month to month, and we need to support these people and make sure everyone gets out what they need.
Peter, how easy would that be to coordinate? And obviously, greyhound racing is national. Albeit we are a fraternity, surely the more local you could have that, so that people could turn to someone in a relatively short distance away, could only help. But
that's why I was pushing really that I wanted somebody from the GB to really, and they are dealing with the government, because we don't want 100, 200 people ringing the HMRC or whoever it is to question about what we can do with ground racing. We need a central body to say, these are our points, this is what we need the funding, etc. And try and get that for the rest of us. There's no point everybody just doing little bits and bobs. We need one central direction to try and get that to come back into us. And, I think some of the media operators, I have heard rumours regarding different ones which are going to try and support their trainers. I think they all need to try and help out and stuff. We hear enough that we're all in it together. Well, that's all right when things are good, but when things are bad, we all need to be in it together as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And quickly going back to I don't really want to harp on about it overly, but because of the way it's looking as if that self-employed people are going to be remunerated, as we say, just taking it by how much they earn, that doesn't seem to be the right way to do it. Now, you can argue whether 50 pence per dog per each trainer is enough, but at least that is directly addressing the amount of dogs in a kennel, isn't it? So something along those lines.
The GB are doing what they can on the financial. I've had people that have said, 50 pence a day, and I agree, you can't keep a dog on 50 pence a day. But the Greyhound Board have only got a certain amount of money. So I don't want people say, you're part of the GB now, Peter, blah, blah. No, if you've got a bank balance with a certain amount of money in, that's all you can give away and distribute it in the best, and they are distributing it in the best way they can for the length of time they can. So the GB are doing what they financially can, etc. It's just we want and try and get help from other areas to try and support us. That's what my take on it is. Not down to the GB. What I'd like the GB to do is actually help or be the umbrella around it to try and help us get these finances or help from other areas.
And owners we should talk about, obviously key to this, and owners often, if you like, in happier times feel that they don't get the representation that they deserve, and they do deserve a lot. They basically fund the sport. I mean, do you think that in some cases, and obviously every case is going to be different, that owners may be able to help more in whichever way that may be possible?
I actually look at it the other way, to be quite honest. I actually think, as owners, dogs are probably their hobby or their second part of it, and with anything, your family comes first. So I wouldn't be looking to put my hand out to the owners for more, etc. What I would try and do is work with them. Each owner will have their own separate case or different finances, etc. And, if you get something off an owner, it's better than getting them out the game or being lost and losing them. So, try and work with your owners. If you have to try and do it at cost, where you're not, let's support all of us together. Let's support each other and just try and come out the other side all intact. So, straight away today, I've got numerous vehicles what I use for work, etc. The ones what I'm not going to use, straight away I've put them on the sawn. I've knocked my insurance right down. Even on my waste collections, I've knocked my waste collections down to every 2 weeks instead of each week. Straight away look at your finances. That's what I'd say to trainers. Look at your finances. See what you could possibly cut down or, go without, etc. Don't wait until 3 months down the line and think, I wish I'd have done that 3 months ago to save that bit of money. Look at it straight away and do what you can to try and save yourself your money and do your bit towards things. That's what I've done all first thing this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Very sage advice. I mean, actually, what I was getting at more, would there even be instances where perhaps to ease the burden on a kennel, and again, not every owner could do this by any stretch of the imagination, but take the greyhound to their homes for a short period? Yeah,
that's very sound advice. If they could possibly do it, it does help, etc. like and stuff. It's anything to take the burden off or help. It is. Let's all pull together and let's all work together and help each other, etc. That's the whole crux of it. Do what we can.
Peter, the mantra we've heard from you about pulling together, about taking logical steps. It's great stuff and wonderful to hear. And I can say this quite sincerely. The GB or the trainers are happy to, are lucky, fortunate to have you as their representative, because you will battle for them. We know that, and.
Well, I always think you battle for things you can win, or what sensible things, or I think if there's daft rules, you fight against daft rules, etc. and that. But I do sometimes think you do all have to work together, and you can't get blood out of a stone. But if there's a river down the road, try and go and get a bit out of that, like and stuff. You've just got to be sensible and do the right things. And like I said, look at your own finances, see what you can cut down, where you can peg anything back, and they're your first ball calls. And you can't just hold your hand out and hope somebody's going to bail you out in these situations, because we are all in problems. Stadia are in problems. They've not got finance. They've got things coming through. So we have all got the same problems. It's just obviously some people have got bigger pockets than others, and if they want to put them a bit deeper, then that would help us all out.
And as trainers rep, are you happy with trainers getting in contact with you, whether it be just for advice or acting as a conduit?
I'm always open to try and talk to somebody. I might not have the answers. I might not be able to help them, but I'll do my best to try and do if I can, etc. So, and even the stipendiary stewards, they know these people. They're probably friendly with the stipendiary stewards, and they'll do what they can to try and help them, etc. So it's, we are all in there. And I know the GB are working tirelessly now to try and work with the sports to try and get us back on in the stadiums as quick as possible if it's behind closed doors, and that's, I would say, the main people we really want. We want everyone to follow the rules, what the government's put in place. When you see crowds of people, etc., they're the people that's brought this in, that we couldn't carry on going behind closed doors. We want the general public to actually listen to the Prime Minister and do what he's been saying to try and get on top of this virus straight away.
Yeah, and I mean, it actually leads on to the point that going forward, because of the way that the greyhound industry has acted over the period of the last few weeks, that can only bode well for the future, because they can look back, or we can look back and say, we have done things correctly, we have done things by the book, and when appropriate,
I'm proud to be part of the greyhound industry, how we worked. We all kept the distances. Yeah, people say the dogs went in the traps a little bit longer than before, but we did everything to the book, and I do think if everybody else around the country had have acted sensibly as well as what we did, we could have carried on. So it wasn't us what stopped us from racing, it was other parts of the world, other parts of this country in different industries or different walks of life, what actually didn't do what they was instructed, which has caused us to have this impact on us.
Peter, thanks so much for talking to us. It is imperative we have a united front at this time, and with people like you at the forefront of that, I think we're going to ultimately be okay. Peter, thanks for talking to us.
Cheers, Jason.